You are listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
You know, Chris Cuthbert was sitting at the table across from us, and Terry Jones, of course, getting to see him again after he'd been on the show.
Okay, wait, does Chris sound exactly how he does on TV?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I could hear him from across the room.
I want him to narrate my life. Everyone wants Morgan Freeman, but I want Chris Cuthbert.
Welcome to the Empire. It's the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
And here's Mike Riley, takes the drop, waits and throws, and he's going deep downfield. And Darius Bowman. Oh my goodness, what a catch by Darius Bowman. You won't see many better than that. Franklin to Zylstra, touchdown Eskimos. Pressure's coming. Oh, Levi Mitchell goes down. There's a big play for the defense. Somersaults for everybody.
Welcome back to the Turf District for episode 114 of the Eskimo Empire Podcast. My name is Andrew, and thank you for downloading, subscribing, sharing, and, of course, spending some of your time with us. You can find all of our links and social connections on our website, eskempire.ca, and we are one of the many Canadian Football Podcast Network shows. I recommend you listen to all of those, especially as they all now have some great Grey Cup stories. A bit of a break, obviously, but we have a lot on the show this week with a recap of the Grey Cup game. Of course, the weekend and the leading up to the party, so to speak. A bit of a preview for what's coming on the show in the offseason. But first, CFL Twitter Awards winning team, Web Mistress Kayla. How are you?
I am great.
Good. I wish Superfan was here so I could say all of us, but
I know.
Superfan, we miss you. If you caught the Periscope, Superfan was down with a bit of a cold again, but he will be joining us for the next show. But make sure you watch that because he tells you about some of the things that are coming up in the off season. So it's very good. But congrats. I mean, I think it's exciting. We got that award 2 years in a row. And thank you to all of you that voted. And Kayla, you were a big part in that. And sharing, you really should be in PR. Yeah, I think that's your calling.
I think I think I found my calling. I really did.
I would agree. I thought it was fantastic.
That was fun though. Like I was sweating. I was actually sweating because when I went on at night, I was just like I didn't expect to have that. I guess much of a disadvantage because when we were like under 10% down. I was like, I am not losing to anything riders. This is not happening. And I made it so.
Yep. You know what? It was pretty cool. I'm just happy that we kind of got to join the rest of the Empire people that won. Dave Campbell as media account. Yeah. The Esks cheer team is the cheer team account, which is their second year. And I mean, it's really just a for popularity contest of voting, and it's just for Twitter, but it is still humbling, and we were up against some amazing shows.
Absolutely,
in the, Alouettes Flight Deck, the Pipples Pod, and of course 2 and Out. So, I was really impressed and humbled, and so thank you to everyone that took a moment to vote and or spread the word like Kayla did.
And thanks to the guys at the CFLT Awards, because you know, without them, we wouldn't be 2-time victors. So
absolutely, it's kind of fun to say, isn't it? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can't let it get to my head.
Tell us a little bit. You posted a couple of things on the blog this week. And it's very exciting. We're seeing some of those pictures.
Oh my gosh! I finally have a computer, which is very exciting.
That's a good first step for a web mistress.
I lost a few of my photos. Hey, so I had like my computer completely stopped working, and then I took it apart, and it was working again, and I was uploading pictures, and then all of a sudden, some of them were just gone. So, so I was like, okay, well, it's done. Like I can't use this. It's a 10-year-old computer anyway.
Yes, that does happen.
So I finally bit the dust and got a new computer, and I was up till 3 a.m. I didn't even notice because I was like, I'm about to do this. This feels so good. I was just like, in a freaking zone of soy. I was hypnotized by my technology.
Awesome.
But it was good because, I got some of those pictures up, and it was from the West Final, and most of it was from the fan rally, the S fan rally.
Yeah.
Just because during the game, I'm like zoned out. Well,
that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Unless I'm down on the field, because my shots aren't that great anyway. I could do it on my phone from that far up. So it's mostly just before or after. But yeah, the S Rally, that was hosted by Chris Sheets, Al Stafford, and then Matt from Section O.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. There was hundreds of us.
Yes.
And we actually got kicked out.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. But I it was cool to see the pictures, though, because that kind of gave a little more perspective.
Yeah.
And kind of your story that went along with it was really cool.
Yeah, and just like to see how fun it was. And like one of my favorite pictures is I didn't get his face, and probably for the best, but it was a Stampeders fan who just came right in the center. And I was like, okay, this is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be fun or he's here to stir up some trouble. But, he had guts. He came in and he was just beaking at people. And then everyone was just like, how do we take this? But then, Chris Sheets came in and was like, oh, well, it's all good. It's all, you're all welcome. We're all from Alberta. We're just not going to, be on the same terms today, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then everyone,
friends off for 3 hours.
Exactly. Yeah. So everyone was just starting to laugh, and it was kind of chill. But some people were like, and other people were like, what are you doing here? Punk. So, but after that, it was just all fun and stuff. And I was loving it. I was like, this guy has balls.
He does have.
Right? But yeah, so that was one of my favorite pictures of and he had his hands up and he was like, all right, I succeed. I leave. And everyone's like, ha, ha, ha. So go on the website and look.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking
absolutely.
about.
Eskempire.ca. Now, the other one you posted, we should probably talk about this right off the start. The Westivus party coming up. January 19th. Now, it is 2018 because on the blog it says 2017.
Oh, boy.
Which is really funny because then Pam said, wait a minute, we're going back in time. And I said, yes, the DeLorean will be parked out front.
Duh.
Come on. We're all nerds here. This is what we like. 6 o'clock, first round, downtown. Make sure you are there. We are going to have some drinks, some football talk, some prizes, and have a few laughs. And hopefully all of our winners will be there from this season. If you've missed it on the Periscope, we did draw the Esk Empire points winner, and that was Shelley from Okotoks. So congrats to Shelley, and excited to get her all of her gear.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our fantasy winner, which was Nicholas, and our Pick'em winner, which was Chris.
Yay,
so
congrats,
hopefully
guys.
Everyone will be able to pop out and pick up all of their gear on that day. Let's talk about Grey Cup, Kayla.
Yeah, I think you had a swell of a time, and I just sat at home.
Oh, my goodness. I'm just going to tell stories if that's okay. Because I love Grey Cup week. Ottawa, pat yourselves on the back. This was an amazing Grey Cup festival. Very, very well set up. One of the first things, actually, when I got there is... I ended up flying out with Brian, and who's a gentleman I know, and we had some great conversation. And then his friend Brewster, who's been at so many Grey Cups, massive Ottawa fan. Him and his wife were kind enough to drive us into the hotel, and that was great. And then to the meetup party. Now, I had never been out on a Wednesday before, and the meet and greet party is amazing. I talked a bit about it on the Periscope. When you walk in, you see somebody from every team jersey is there.
Yeah.
And yet everyone is hugging and how's it going, and we'd only get to see you once a year.
Yeah.
It is so CFL, and I can't even put words to what that means, but as you walk in, you're just so excited to see everyone, and everyone's excited to see you. There was a whole bunch of podcasters there, which was fantastic. And I like all these people that you know and interact with on Twitter, but you never got to meet in person.
Yeah.
So it was a blast. The Prescott was great for us. It was a great space, and they had good food. great drinks, and we just kind of hung out for the night.
Was it at a bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. I had a great time, and of course a bunch of Eskimo fans there too, with
Nice.
Tree and Angela and Linda and all the West brothers, and it was really, really cool to kind of hang out, and Paul, who's been on the show. Just fun to hang out again, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't
Yeah.
get all of us in one place very often.
Yeah,
And,
even when you're from the same city.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it was, and it's really just a great way to kind of kick off Grey Cup.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I heard a few people say, and I totally agree with this, there is no other league in the world that you could have someone from every team in a bar and everyone gets along.
It's
Like,
strange, hey?
It just doesn't happen.
Talk about Canadian.
Oh, beyond. Like, it's so awesome. It's amazing.
Oh, I'm excited.
So now Thursday, once I finally pulled myself out of bed,
How early or late, should I say, was that?
I think that one I ended up back at in hotel room chatting some football with some guys until about 4:30 in the morning. So it was a great chat.
Yowza.
Yeah, lots of fun though. And then we went. So Thursday I was on Radio Row with podcaster Ryan.
Yeah.
And we had some excellent conversation as well. We did do a Periscope while we were there.
That was fun.
They had the band was doing their sound check while we were doing that, so it made it a bit hard to kind of get through the Periscope. But really, really cool that we got welcomed there. We had a banner that we were the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
Yep.
Got to meet some of the other radio guys. Darren Bauming, I finally got to meet him face to face, and the TSN guys were there as well. So that was a lot of fun. We didn't do a lot as far as guests that day. We mostly just did a lot of sitting and visiting, which was fine. Thursday night, I actually went and spent with my family that lives out there, which was also awesome. And thank you to all of them for having me out there. It was a blast. My cousin actually played in the CFL, so we had lots of CFL football talk, and it was just great to see all of them. It was a blast. Then Friday morning, what was I doing Friday morning? Let's see. I did end up at a couple of different things. I know I ended up back on Radio Row for a bit Friday afternoon, and then we were able to record a bit of a show with Travis that was put out on 2 and Out with Travis, Ryan, and myself.
Okay.
And oh my goodness, we were having a great laugh because again the band was warming up behind us, so we ended up with Queen and Elton John and all these different songs.
Is that when they got kicked out?
It was we were just killing ourselves laughing.
No. The pep band, is that when?
Oh no, that was something completely different.
Okay.
So, anyway, so we had some good laughs there, and then of course Friday night was the tweet up. If you're on Twitter and you like CFL and you tweet about CFL, if there's any way you can get into the tweet up, it is so worth it. It's just a great party. It's, again, all of these people that you interact with who love the CFL on Twitter. But I finally got to meet... I had met Max before, so we got to chat for a little bit. But I finally got to meet Brody.
Yeah.
And, it was... she was really inspiring. And I was happy that I got to meet her so I could actually say thank you for the Grey Cup fit up and all the things that she does interacting with us as fans. And that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I just remembered what I did Friday. Oh, I can't believe I missed this. So Friday morning, I went to the fan state of the league.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And of course the buzz the entire week is Halifax possibly getting a team.
I didn't see you, by the way. I was looking for you.
And it looks more and more like this is something that could happen.
Did they say 2019 or 2020?
2020 is what they're shooting for. I think that's pretty ambitious myself, but I won't really believe that until they can get shovels in the ground. But still, this is really starting to look like something that could happen. And I don't want to get too overly excited yet, but I'm cautiously excited about having that 10th team.
And I think the more we put it out there, the excitement, I think it's more pressure for them to actually go forward with it too,
Absolutely.
right? So I know, and I absolutely loved how they kind of announced maybe a hint of it, and like the CFL tweets just went crazy, including ourselves, and then CFL retweeting saying like the shock of how welcome this would be was outstanding. And I'm just like, of course it is. This is the CFL. We don't want to remain how it is. We want to grow. Like, we're a community. We want to get bigger, and and just to have like from coast to coast, and like, who knows, maybe someday go up north. And...
who knows? But I was happy about that. I think the rest of the state of the league, to be fair, I mean, this was Randy's first state of the league.
Yeah.
I do think that I heard in the media one that there was a lot of CTE talk. Not to say that there shouldn't be, but there's so many other things going on in the league. And I think we kind of touched on that. I think that he did one of the funniest things, or one of the things I guess that really stuck with me, was that he said, this was my first regular season. This was my first season as they were playing.
Yeah.
And he said, what I told the rest of the people is that, on Monday morning, we now go into the business season, which was funny because then Christina Litt said, you mean Tuesday? And he's like, yeah, okay, probably Tuesday. So it's, so now they're going into the business season, and he's approaching that a little bit differently in the fact that it's not like the CFL goes away for the off season. Yeah. They're still doing stuff, and it's the business season that they do that, and then they get back into playing again. So super, super exciting. And I thought he did very well for his first state of the league. I thought he was very honest, which is great.
And very transparent for the most part. As
much as he could be.
Well, that's just it, right? Is I think as fans, we deserve to know certain things. And I think he was very open and honest about everything. Yeah.
I really liked when they said, when is Hamilton going to get a Grey Cup? Yeah. And he said, well, I really haven't delved into the whole where does the Grey Cup go, because I've been busy doing this regular season, but in the business season, that's right. I'm going to learn more about that, and we're going to figure that out. And I thought, what, that's a great answer.
And do they try to go like 1 year east, 1 year east, 1 year west?
They used to, and then now they had changed it the last few years, but this past year was the first time where they had it where you had to put a bid in to get the Grey Cup. Okay. And I believe that process will continue to go. So as these places are able to bid to have the Grey Cup, then they can have them.
Because hasn't it been out east for the last 2 years?
It has, yeah. And it had been out west a couple of years as well. Like we would like to get back into the east-west. Yeah. But I mean, right now with all of the legal things that are kind of going on in Hamilton as far as the stadium is concerned, right? Halifax might get a Grey Cup before Hamilton. I hope not. I really want to go to Hamilton. I haven't had a chance to be there yet.
I'll have to ask you about I don't know what the legal things are.
I just know there's a lot of stuff going on with the stadium as far as it should be not having some of the problems that it does. Okay. So there's some legal struggles there. Okay. So we'll see, but I thought the State of the League was good. Now, as the State of the League was wrapping up, I happened to be sitting beside Janine, and who I have to say, and I hope she's listening, is probably one of my favorite CFL people on the planet.
Oh, my.
I love hanging out with her. I just love the way that she approaches the game and her fandom, and she's just so easy to talk to. And so she said, hey, as it turns out, I have an extra ticket to the Legends Lunch. Would you like to go? And I said, yeah. Is the Pope Catholic?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
No, I'm okay.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of busy.
I'm busy.
Yeah, no, not really. So I ended up getting the ticket to the Legends Lunch. And if anybody is coming to Edmonton next year for the Grey Cup, I cannot stress enough how amazing it is to go to the Alumni Legends Lunch, because This one was in Ottawa, so there was obviously a lot more Ottawa alumni.
Yeah.
When it's here,
Oh gosh.
there is going to be so much Eskimo, but there's alumni from every team.
Yeah.
So now here's the part that was amazing to me. So we walk in, we're like, oh, okay, we can sit at this table. Great. So myself and Dawn, who is Janine's sister, and Janine, we all sit at the table. And sitting beside me is Brian Towris, who just got into the Hall of Fame for coaching the University of Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Great guy. We had some good chats. That was really good. So, and the rest of the table is empty, so no problem. We're just sitting there. And then as we're chatting, and I kind of look over. Now, do you want to do a little role playing with me?
Oh, my.
Of course.
It's really funny. Okay, so coming around the table is Mike O'Shea.
Oh boy.
Now, so what I want you to do is pretend that you're Mike O'Shea and introduce yourself to me as you're coming around the table to say, and I'll show you what my reaction was.
Okay.
So.
Do I have arrogance?
No, you don't. You are
Okay.
a super nice guy. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, I'm Mike.
I know. Oh, I'm Andrew. Like that is exactly what happened. I was floored. I'm like, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And of course, he's wearing his Hall of Fame jacket because he went in this year. And I'm like, oh man, this is incredible. I'm sitting with Mike O'Shea. Got Brian Towers sitting beside me. This is amazing. So then who comes over to sit beside Mike O'Shea? Anthony Calvillo.
Oh my God.
Is sitting at our table.
I would have pooped my pants.
I almost did. And so then I'm like, I cannot believe I'm sitting at a table with these people. So then all of a sudden coming around the table is Randy Ambrosi. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, he's just coming by. No. He comes, hi, I'm Randy. I said, yeah, I know. I'm Andrew. I'm from the basketball. He's like, oh, right. Yeah. We met in Edmonton and really, really great. And then he sits down at the table.
Andrew is fangirling.
Oh, completely. Just short of squealing at this point. So then I look up and across the table from me, sitting down, Glenn Johnson. So I'm like, this is, I don't understand how this happened. I don't know how I'm getting to sit at this table, but this is amazing. And so I noticed actually when Randy was doing the State of the League, I'm like, Randy, you wouldn't happen to be wearing your 93 Eskimo Grey Cup ring, would you? He's like, I am.
Oh my gosh.
I said, he's like, you want to see it? I'm like, you think? I'm like, yes, please. He's like, yes. So I got to hold the ring and check it out, which was fantastic. And he kind of laughed and it was all good.
Yeah.
Had a nice chat with Mike O'Shea's wife, actually, about kind of what it's like to be coming to all these events, especially with him going into the Hall of Fame. And
yeah.
They were showing some videos on old plays and players who had either passed on or things like that. And it's so funny, this one guy comes around and just clocks Wilkinson from behind. And I look at Glenn, I'm like, hey, Glenn, that's totally roughing the passer. He's like, roughing the passer. He throws a flag in the air. We were killing ourselves laughing. Like, it was so much fun. And then they inducted two people, Jeff Avery and Russ Jackson, into the Alumni Hall of Fame. Now, I don't know if you're old enough to know who Russ Jackson is.
I recognize the name, but...
He was probably the last great Canadian starting quarterback who won a Grey Cup with
why
Ottawa
I recognize his name.
Rough Riders.
Yeah.
So he, as far as CFL goes, he is a football true living legend.
Okay.
And his speech was it got all of us. It was the passion that man has for the CFL cannot be met by many people, and it was truly just an amazing experience. I was lucky enough after the lunch I walked over and just was able to introduce myself and get a picture with Russ Jackson, and I was shaking. Aww. I was like, this is truly a football god as far as I'm concerned, and I'm getting to get my picture with him. It was truly just an amazing lunch. So I don't know how I missed that part. I skipped over because too many Qui-Gon Jinns. If you can come and go to Legends Lunch, highly recommend it.
Yes.
truly just an amazing experience. I will most definitely be putting my money into going to that next year because it's going to be crazy good.
Yeah.
So then going back to the tweet up, met Brody, had a great time.
How tall is she in her heels?
She's like 6'2" in her heels. Like
Okay.
she was taller than me in her heels.
Because she's usually quite tall. And I was like, look at them heels, Brody. You must just be making those boys quake.
Yeah, she's.
I love that.
Yeah, I was
woman.
like, I had to look up a little. So yeah, she was
gorgeous woman,
but so nice, so
genuine.
nice,
yeah,
so genuine. Really, really loved it. And I also had a great conversation with Christina Litz there because we had never met face to face, so that was really nice to have that conversation. And that was then when I got to meet Cliffy D from the flight deck because he drove in for that.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun. And I also, of course, got to run into our MOP, Mike Riley, and have a chat with him.
You look just on top of the world.
Absolutely. I also had about a half an hour conversation with Mondo, who was there as well. And, I knew he was a nice guy, but just...
He's a teddy bear.
It was such a great conversation. So, and I did get to meet some other guys like Manny Arsenault and Elamimian was there.
Okay.
He's a really cool dude, actually.
Yeah?
That was a great conversation. Andrew Harris was there too, but I didn't get a chance to get over to shake his hand just because you're kind of going all over the place while you're there.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So then Saturday morning was the Eskimo breakfast. I talked all about that on the Periscope. Highly recommend it. The sluice juice is amazing. I was tipsy for a lot of the day. That's okay.
Congrats to the cheer team too on their little stunt with Randy. That was awesome.
That was amazing. Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. I'm like, hey, can you do that to me? No, that's just, I don't need to go to the hospital. No, it was really, really cool that they did that. And then, back on Podcasters Row, I recorded our show. If you haven't listened to that, go back and have a check that with Cliffy D and, of course, the guys from UCC that did sponsor the breakfast and were nice enough to help me out on getting there. So that was fantastic. And then Saturday night, I ended up at a dinner with a bunch of Eskimo fans, and sat sitting across the table from Dwayne Mandrusiak and had some great conversations with him. That was really, really cool. Sunday morning, I actually ended up getting invited to the Football Reporters of Canada brunch.
Oh, get out!
So it was really, really cool. Ryan and I were there together, and I got to meet a bunch of Chris Cuthbert was sitting at the table across from us, and Terry Jones, of course, getting to see him again after he'd been on the show.
Okay, wait, does Chris sound exactly how he does on TV?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I could hear him from across the room.
I want him to narrate my life. Everyone wants Morgan Freeman, but I want Chris Cuthbert.
Spoken like a true CFL fan. That's awesome. So yeah, no, that was actually really good. It was a great meeting to do that. Now the next interaction was hilarious because Ryan and I went to a pub to have a drink.
Yeah.
And as we're sitting there, Darren and Doug Flutie walk in.
No way.
Now I am well aware that Doug Flutie is a god for Ryan.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll just sit here. You go and
have your moment.
And so he went over and was able to introduce himself and shake his hand, and that was pretty cool. Now, he comes back to the table. We're continuing our drink. And, then 2 tables over, they get sat from us. It's really close. And it's like, oh, this is a little bit funny, right? And so I'm, of course, joking. I'm sending Mike a text saying, I'm like, Doug Flutie's right there. I just want to go over and say, Doug, it's really great to meet you. And that was totally a fumble. In 1996. That was a fumble. It should be our Grey Cup. I don't know what you're talking about. But I didn't do that. So as we get up to leave, we're walking around and Doug says, hey, enjoy the game. And Ryan says, have a great show because the Brothers Band was playing at the VIP.
Yeah.
So he said, oh, have a good show. And then Ryan and I had kind of come around behind Ryan. And then Ryan says, Darren, I would have said hi, but you broke my heart so many times as a Calgary fan. I just couldn't do. So then I come running around Ryan and I go, and that's why I want to meet you as an Eskimo fan, Darren. It's so nice to meet you. And of course, then everybody in the bar gets a little bit of a laugh and they all laughed. And it was like, okay, that was fun, right?
Yeah.
It was good interaction with some of these legendary
Legends,
players. And then, of course, there was the game. And I don't even know how to explain it. It was when you got there, there was like it was just nice. It was a little chilly.
Yeah.
And then the snow started to come.
Right before the game.
It was
right on cue.
Oh my goodness! But I give the Ottawa field team all the credit because they cleared that off so fast.
Yeah,
they were keeping the lines at least clear, and I mean, again, there's not much more Canadian than that.
Right.
Sit and watch
it's a
the
part
game,
of it,
and each team's got to play in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Now, now that I've rambled on forever, what did you think of the game itself? Of course, Toronto winning 27-24 and taking home the Grey Cup.
That aside, the game was what you want a Grey Cup to be.
Yeah.
It was exciting. It had phenomenal plays on both sides.
Absolutely.
On each, special teams, on defense, on offense. Ricky Ray, oh my gosh, 100 yards. What? Oh my gosh!
That 100-yard pass in live was one of the most beautiful passes I've ever seen.
It
was just right in there, drops right into Posey's lap.
It was just something. It was like a perfect game as a fan almost to watch.
Yes, better actually almost with not having a team in it. It's like you just can enjoy it.
And obviously as Eskimo fans, we wanted the Toronto to win. Some of us, not everyone, actually.
And we also wanted our team to be there.
Well, that's
of course.
But but we had Ricky Ray, so
so that was fine. Go Ricky. Yeah,
old alum. But no, as far as games go, it was back and forth. It was exciting. It was beautifully played. It was snowing. I mean, the players probably didn't enjoy that as much, but on TV, because I was nice and cozy with my fireplace going at home. But
not fair.
But it was nice because people who were there, because I was on Twitter at the same time, and everyone was like, "Woo, it's snowing!" They were welcomed it, and they were probably half gone anyway. But
some of us, yes.
But yeah, it was a game for the books, and I'm so happy that Ricky got this win because I don't know what's going to happen. Well, no one knows. I don't even think
I was just going to say, do you think he retires?
This would be a good time. But if you still got fuel in a tank, why not give it another go?
Yeah, it's a tough one because I know when they had the parade a couple days later, people were chanting one more year, and he said, well, how about why not two?
Yeah.
And then when they were doing the locker room clean out, he's like, I'm seriously considering retirement.
Yeah.
And it's a tough line, but I know as me being a fan, I would love to see Ricky play more.
Yeah.
On the other hand,
why not go out
on top?
Yeah. And the thing is too is, you're on a high, so why wouldn't you want more years, right? Because you had just won the cup, and then after a few days you realize, you have a family, and that's something to consider. And
I'd kind of like to not be beat up every week,
Yeah. So there's positives and negatives to both sides, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But if you still got a year or two, why not pull it out? I mean, even if they're not as good as the previous years, who knows? Maybe you can come back and go to another Grey Cup.
It's entirely possible. I mean, the guy knows how to play still.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. It's just, can his body take it?
Well, yeah.
That's where it comes down to.
And that's got to be ultimately only he knows, right?
Yes.
So
selfishly, Ricky, we'll always have a spot for you in a coaching staff. If you would like to do coaching, absolutely. I have a feeling your buddy Jason would love to have you here. So
I have a feeling a whole bunch of people sporting green and gold would love to have you here.
I have a feeling.
Yeah,
exactly.
Little
Could you imagine coming to a team that has Mike Riley as the quarterback with Jason Moss the head coach and Ricky Ray as the
Can
quarterback
we say
coach?
Dynasty?
Wow. That would be a lot of quarterback knowledge right there.
Speaking of Mike Riley, though.
Yes.
Can we just applaud our warrior? Oh my gosh. And you're right. You are right. The Toronto Argonauts won that game because Mike Riley won MOP and Ricky Ray did not.
That's right. That's very true. The streak continues. Yes.
Oh gosh. But that that speech, I welled up pretty hard. That was...
I don't think there's a CFL fan that didn't well up.
Well, even he did, and then as soon as he started losing a little control, I'm like, no,
pause, I'll come back.
But congratulations, Mike Riley. That was well deserved. Absolutely, yeah. He deserved that out of anyone. You could argue half a mile around me. A lot of people thought that Singleton deserved it, which, yeah, of course, like a lot of people deserve it, but I think Mike Riley was. Yep. He just was.
Yeah, I get it. That's perfect. He just was. That's great.
No one could have done what he did with this team with the amount of adversity that this team had this year. So
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
Oh, and before we forget, we should also say congratulations to Adarius Bowman for the Tom Pate Award.
Yes.
Especially with all of his work with Adarius for autism.
Yes.
And I mean, we've supported that all year.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to their having some events coming up, so we'll be promoting
excellent.
those. But congratulations, AD. Well deserved.
Absolutely.
A great guy on the field and a better guy off. So.
One thing that I absolutely love Adarius for is he is not inside his own head.
No.
At all. No. We were at the West Finals, and I understand that a lot of players get into a focus mode.
Yeah.
Coming off of the warm up and then going into the locker room. There's one guy. There's a few, but AD is one of those very few guys who will always wave, smile, say hello to the fans who are standing there just waiting for the team, to the players, for them to recognize that the fans have come all the way down to Calgary, all the way down to Regina, all the friggin' way down to Ottawa. Who cares, just to see their team play, and to have those players just have a little bit of, I kind of want to say decency, because that's not the right word, but
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Just to those 3 seconds mean the world to us.
Yes.
And it's not that, oh my gosh, they're football players. Oh, it's a support. It goes both ways. It's a two-way street. It is a weird relationship, but without them, we don't have football, and without us, they don't have their jobs.
Right.
So, and to have those few players, and another one too, I just want to shout out, I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but Natey.
Oh, absolutely.
Every single game, he has the biggest smile, and has, every time I look through my camera, I'm like, there's Natey again, that big old smile and that wave.
Are you sure he's just not trying to photobomb everyone? Because that's what he does to Jason Moss's interviews.
Oh, I don't care. Do as you will, my friend. Keep up the good work. But in all seriousness, so AD, he's had some troubles with catches and stuff, but
Sure.
I don't want to see him go anywhere.
Yeah, no, he's the fact of the matter is he gets it on both sides.
Yeah, and that's so important.
He gets it on and off in field, and he's using his
platform
to do something really positive with Adarius for autism.
Yeah.
So I
amazing dude all the way around.
Absolutely. A couple more things just on the game before we move on. I was so nice for so long. When I landed in Calgary on the way back, I was kind of waiting to see the back-to-back participant shirts, and they weren't there. I was really upset.
I'm pretty sure they'll be coming.
I hope so. Yeah. What I do think, though, one of the things that kind of came up after the game was what does Calgary do now?
I don't know how, I don't want to sound rude.
Yeah.
But I think some of it definitely has to do with a state of ego.
Could be.
And when you go to the Grey Cup and you are technically the best team in the league 2 times in a row, now you lose 2 times in a row. There's got to be...
It's going to humble you a little bit.
You would think.
Yeah.
But is it a point of overconfidence?
I'm not sure. I know that it's funny because a lot of people are kind of ragging on the call to make the throw to the end zone.
It's Grey Cup.
But as far as I'm concerned...
you do what you got to do to win.
That's what Calgary does. They're an aggressive team. Now, 9 times out of 10, probably 9.5 times out of 10, that play works.
Yeah.
Now, did Bo throw into a not so great situation? Yes. What I was really surprised was that Bo didn't put it over so that only his receiver could have got it instead of trying to gun it to him.
Yeah.
That part really surprised me. On the other hand, Calgary's MO the entire year has been aggressive football.
Yeah.
That's the way that they play football.
Yeah.
So that to me was much like the year before. Well, Buckley's going to run it in because that play works 99% of the time.
Yeah.
It happened to be that day that play didn't work.
Yeah.
And the same kind of thing happened here where it just happened to be not the and they had two enormous plays against them that definitely didn't help. So I don't know. I don't think at this point there are people talking about blowing up the Calgary Stampeders and doing different things. And I'm like, no. Keep winning in the regular season and losing Grey Cups. I'm fine with that.
We're fine with that.
Actually, losing West Finals would be better. But still, I still think that team has. They have depth. They have great players. They just
have luck.
Yeah, they need to find. I don't know whether it's focus or concentration or, like you said, they have to go in a little more humble to that game. Who knows?
And I'm just saying that from just a standpoint of an Esks fan, obviously.
Yeah.
Coming, but there is a bit of an ego on that team as a whole, and they have a right to be because they are so good. But when it comes to Grey Cup, it doesn't matter. The regular season, nothing matters anymore.
Right.
Only that game matters. And, sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't, or sometimes you just can't lose to a guy like Ricky Ray.
Yeah. Well, and Ricky Ray does what Ricky Ray does. He's been breaking Calgary hearts for years. So, attaboy.
Right? Yeah.
Well done,
yeah.
Richard Ray.
Well, and... or who called him Dick Ray?
Yeah, that was Ferland.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure if I should laugh at that or not. Yeah.
Oh, and another thing, too, that actually just really, really made me like... It was only one guy, but you don't throw your teammate under the bus.
Now, I have a little bit of a different thought on that because I agree that it shouldn't have come out that way. In the emotion of the moment on back-to-back Grey Cup losses, though, I think it came across harsher than it really.
Yes.
I don't think his thought was that guy cost us the game, but that's the way it came across.
Yes. But in saying that, he is a veteran player.
Oh, absolutely.
And he should know how to rein in his emotions. And I understand, it is the heat of the moment, but those are the kind of moments that really defined who you are as a person.
Or as a team, maybe.
Or as a teammate. So
yeah, I totally get it.
I thought that was really unfair because no one blamed Jamil for our loss, right? Because it's just bad luck.
Just happened.
One of those things.
No, everybody was too busy blaming Moss.
I know, right? He was like, "Woo, got away from that one."
Yeah.
But
yeah, not so. I do love the irony of the fact that Calgary should have kicked the field goal to tie it, and we were good. Anyway, oh my goodness. Well, congratulations to the Toronto Argonauts, and congratulations to Argo Diva, who is probably one of the biggest Toronto Argonauts fans that I know.
Those fans.
Our friends, of course, at the Argo Fancast, and all of the different Argos supporter groups, the Oars, the Argo Admirals, the ArgoFans.com. There's lots of different spots for them to come. The Double Blue Order, that's the other one. But I mean, it's great that they, especially when so many of us were counting them out so early, and here they are.
I love those stories. Those are my favorite.
Absolutely. All right, let's take just a quick break here, and we will come back with a bit of Esks news, some previews for next season, and of course, what's to come in the off season.
Hey, this is Ryan King, Grey Cup champ.
And Calvin McCarty, also Grey Cup champ.
And you are listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
You can join the Empire online. Find us at sempire.ca. All of our social channels are there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, plus our blogs, extra pics, and the link to our Patreon page. You can also get more history at S History on Twitter and This Day in S History on Facebook. From the Empire team, thanks again for listening. Now let's get back to the show.
Welcome back. Let's get to a little bit of the Esks news. So I guess the biggest one that came out this week was our free agent list came out, and it's long.
It's like freaking Santa pulling out all those names. It just keeps going and going.
It's funny because we almost have an entire roster of free agents. Now, a lot of people making a huge deal out of that. The fact of the matter is we had a lot of these guys on 1-year deals that were in to replace the injury.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that definitely takes a bit of, it adds extras. Probably it adds maybe 30%. So, so the list is still fairly long. Now, there is some guys that I was obviously a little more inclined that I would like to see here.
Yeah.
Did you look over the list?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, there are.
Okay. All right. So tell me first, who are the guys that, give me a couple, 3 names of guys that you think you would really like to stay, you'd like them to re-sign here. I'll take a few of them off the board, just right off the top. We know Zylstra is likely going to be trying out the NFL.
Yeah.
We know that... Swayze Waters probably not back anyway. We know that Kenneth Ladler will probably be trying out the NFL. And we do know that likely Grimes and Walker will get an opportunity at least to have a look down there.
Yeah.
And of course, the rumor right now that James will be getting a look down in the NFL as well. But taking those names off, is there guys that kind of jump out to you?
Absolutely. If you know me at all, it will be Euclid Cummings.
Exactly.
I saw that name on there. I was like,
yes.
Oh, so yes, definitely Euclid. Sean White.
Yes.
We need money. We need money.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. And CJ Gable, but of course. It's likely he's coming back anyway because the negotiations had started even before the list had come out anyway. So
correct. Yes. Now the rumor is that Sunderland has about 8-9 guys that are already signed and they just haven't announced as of yet, which is interesting. I mean, because Winnipeg's announcing like they have a new guy almost every day. They've already, even before the Grey Cup.
But in saying that, that's just the 3 that came off the top of my head, and there are plenty more that I mean, this is our team, right? So it's a little emotional to even think some of these guys are leaving. But
a couple of guys that I'm going to just expand on from what you had already said. Big one for me, Danny Grew. I know that he's been injured quite a bit, but he's Canadian and he's got a nasty streak, and I love how he plays on that line. I would really like to see Danny back. I think Adam Konar deserves a contract.
Yeah.
He played amazingly well in that spot. They thought there was going to be not a big drop off without Greenwood, but Konar has he played like a great season.
And he got better and better.
Absolutely.
That's what was so interesting to watch. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then I think, of course, and this one kind of goes without saying, and I'm sure it's already done, but JC Sherritt, you need to sign back here, my friend.
I didn't even know he was on.
So, yes, JC Sherritt, you need to be back in the middle of our line, please, and thank you. Now, the scary part about this whole list is what just happened in BC as Ed Hervey becomes the new GM of the BC Lions. And congrats to Ed for that. I had a fantastic conversation with him in Ottawa. Had an inkling that was going to happen. But our conversation was explicitly off the record. So, but I got to tell you, BC Lions fans, be excited because Ed Hervey knows and has probably forgot more about football than I will ever know. Mm-hmm. And he's an excellent judge of football talent.
Yep.
I believe that he will be more media accessible. And I think that I love talking football with Ed.
Yeah.
It was Ed and Torrey Hunter that I got a chance to talk to. And honestly, I think that's one of the things that I'm a little, maybe the most nervous about is our scouting department, because they all know Ed and they know what he does. So it's going to be interesting. Brock's got a lot of work, and I believe in Brock in finding a way, and I believe that he is actually doing this the right way.
Yep, absolutely.
But you have to know that there's going to be some guys that are going to be very loyal to Mr. Hervey, and that is going to cost us a few people in there.
Well, naturally,
for not a bad reason. Like
not at all.
I can't fault them for that reason.
Well, it's the same kind of thing that went with Chris Jones too, right? As if you follow,
but those were the ones that we wanted to get rid of anyway. It's fine, but now we need to. Yeah, anyway.
But it's going to make the West even more exciting.
Oh,
I'm
it is.
Very excited to see what happens in BC.
The teams are going to be unreal.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Now, Kayla, you've got a lot more coming as far as blog posts, all these things in the off season. Of course, you'll be joining us for the shows.
Yeah.
We mentioned it early off, but of course, we were going to look forward to the Westivus party on January the 19th at First Round downtown. It'll start at about 6 bells and go till whenever we're done drinking Qui-Gon gins. So that'll be a lot of fun. Now, we should talk a little bit about our kind of off-season plans.
Yes.
What's to come. Now, last year we did a by the numbers. The Eskimos by the numbers. We had a vote every week, right?
Is that different?
That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's what that is. And it was so much fun. Now, Mike announced on the Periscope, this year we are going to do the same kind of thing, but we are going to be drafting the Eskimo all-time team by position.
Yes.
Now, there's so many different players and players that people will know and not know. We decided to kind of split this up. So Mike and myself and a few other guys that remember all the old guys between 49 and 74, we will do up that team.
Yeah.
The voting that we will have will be from 75 to present. And we will put out a few names on each one. We look forward to you guys voting. And
I love polls.
Oh, I know you do. It's going to be so much fun. So we're going to have kind of our all-time Eskimo team. I think that's going to be a blast. The other thing that Mike announced is that instead of doing Esks this week in Eskimo history, we are now changing to Esks Moments, where he can tell us about a piece of memorabilia. He can tell us about a player. He can tell us about a game in particular, and give us a chance to kind of have some feedback with him. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you watch Periscope. Mike explains it much better than I do, but we're excited for that. Now, our podcast is changing it a little bit in the fact that we're going to kind of go to a little bit more of an open conversation style. We're still going to have our fire truckers as always, because cannot have the show without that. But a little bit more of some open chats. And we're kind of looking at possibly doing a bit more get-togethers next year, and maybe some in the off-season here.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Now, I know we might even have to do one for Star Wars.
Yes.
Wouldn't that make sense?
Yes.
The Empire going to watch Star Wars together? I think we might have to do that.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm glad you agree.
But this may or may not be the third time that I will have seen it.
Oh, by
when
that?
we go, yeah.
Nice. Okay, perfect.
Or
excellent.
4.
Okay, no spoilers, Kayla.
I won't. I'll probably still be like,
yeah, I know.
That was my nerd face.
I'll take a picture of that. Put that up later. Yeah, exactly. We're working on a few more things too, as far as getting some more content up on the website, both between Mike and I, and of course the web mistress herself. So hopefully you like some of these things that we're trying to do, trying to make this a little bit different and just a little more fun. Every year we need to upgrade and do a few things that make it a little more fun. So we are working on that for you. So again, as always, go over to the page and make sure you leave some comments there for us, so that if you have any questions that you want us to answer, anything that you want us to interact with, throw it up there on the website, and we will answer it on the show each and every week, because that makes it even more fun.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Kayla. for
Thank
this.
you.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Tell me, everyone, again, where they can find you online and all those types of things.
Well, now that I actually have secret, I opened up a Twitter account, another one, so we would have one more vote for them. But
Well,
now that
we only won by 10, so it's a good choice. Yeah.
so now I have one for my photography page, and that is, oh my God, I think it's Esks Empire Photo, at Esks Empire Photo on Twitter.
Perfect.
And then my handle, my personal handle is at Duchess Lombardi. And then on Instagram, you can find us at Eskimo Empire Podcast.
Wow. First try.
I read the sticker.
Well done. That's very good. All right, you can find Superfan Mike at 56 Parkies and, of course, at Esks History. And you can find me at Esk Empire Pod and at Freepalicious. So you can find all of our social channels if you just go on the website, eskempire.ca. Our Patreon link is there as well.
Yep.
Thanks, as always, to all of our Hall of Famers and Patreon backers. I do want to take just a second to say an extra thank you to them.
Yes, absolutely.
This year, honestly, could not have been possible without our help from our Patreon backers. It was able to help us with the tailgate.
Yep.
It was able to help us with the website, which, of course, brought you to our team.
Yes.
It's been able to help us with a few upgrades, and we're looking at another upgrade into the Turf District to make this a little bit easier for all of you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of your help and support. It means the world to us.
It really does.
Now, our show will be back recording in January as the rest of us need maybe a short rest.
I think you still need to recover.
We're all a little... we all need to get better.
A bit phlegmy.
A bit phlegmy. But as the season comes, of course, it's very busy for everyone with their families and all these things.
Yeah.
So as we will be waiting until January, we do have some amazing guests lined up. But I do want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Thank you again for listening to the show. I guess there's only one question right now. Will we see you at the Year End Westivus party?
Absolutely.
For Web Mistress Kayla and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you in the new year.